Welcome to the Unblock Your Business podcast. I'm Abby Rogers, success coach, business coach and hypnotherapist, and I help high achievers and business leaders master their subconscious habits for success, income goals and, above all, happiness. But success isn't just about mindset or strategy. It's about combining both and sealing the deal with a big dose of subconscious alignment, because our subconscious holds the true key to unlocking our potential. Let's dive in and look at how you can show up bigger, better and more uniquely aligned in life and business today. Hello there, welcome back to the Unblock Your Business podcast. So today I am talking about social media and how and why I'm moving my business away from it. So as you may have guessed, moving away from social media is something that's been on my mind for a while for my business. I've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. I really love the community, really love the connections I've made, and the fact that logging in is kind of just like hanging out with a big group of friends every single day, which is amazing. Can be distracting if you're not careful with it and with your boundaries, but it's really great having that support network there, because being in business on your own can be quite isolating, and it's just nice to know that there are other people out there in the same boat doing the same thing every day. But there are downsides too. So it can be pretty addictive, as I kind of alluded to there. And I've noticed it definitely has the capacity to both increase anxiety and also to be a way of hiding from anxiety and feelings about other things we're going through in life and not really tackling the things that need tackling in our lives. So it's often the first thing we turn to when we're feeling a bit bored or stressed, basically because it gives us this instant hit of dopamine, which momentarily feels really good, but is inevitably followed by this kind of crash and lack of any happy chemicals in our brain, which inevitably leads to feeling more guilt and boredom and anxiety. And it can kind of perpetuate that cycle of anxiety and feeling like we're just not happy. And I think for many of us, those dopamine hits are really becoming an unhealthy substitute for things that would be far more fulfilling if we just switched our attention away from social media for a while. We're really losing that connection with ourselves and what makes us genuinely happy, because we're just kind of tuned into these constant dopamine hits where our brain's opting out and going for the easy option. It's not something we're consciously doing, but our brain's just constantly craving that dopamine hit. And dopamine addiction is really kind of the core driver behind lots of addictive habits. So even things like gambling, it's very often actually the dopamine hit, that constant rush of happy chemicals that we get really hooked on. So when we replace that with longer acting feel-good chemicals, things like serotonin, then we are in a much more stable place and we're much less likely to crave those dopamine hits. So serotonin is generated by doing things that really give us that long-term feel-good feeling, like reading a book you really enjoy, for example, or whatever it is that you can just tune into and feel that real satisfying long-term pleasure that doesn't come crashing down again afterwards. So I started to notice for myself that it had been ages since I'd just picked up a book or done something creative or just gone out for a quick walk. And it's also such an enormous time suck, both in terms of family and business. And it's really just not healthy for us to be constantly switched on and engaged with the world all the time. That constant interaction is stressful, is tiring to our brains, and builds up stress and anxiety, even if we're not really aware of that happening. I also really don't like setting the example for my kids of being constantly buried in my phone and ignoring them. That's not a great look and not a great thing that I want to project as a parent. And what also really, really troubles me as well is the influence over our thoughts and behaviours that social media and constantly being plugged into the web can have. I think The algorithms are really designed to reinforce our existing worldview and to skew our news feeds in favour of content that is relevant, apostrophe is relevant, and keeps us coming back for more. Things that feel relevant to us, things that feel like we are going to crave them. We want more and more of that kind of information. And as we are already as humans great at confirming our own biased opinions anyway, we seek out stuff that confirms our worldview, and we don't really want to challenge that. There's a real danger, I think, in terms of opinions becoming more and more polarised and our online reality becoming more and more far removed from what is real and what the rest of the world outside of our immediate kind of sphere of influence is really up to. And we're really losing touch in many ways, and I really don't like that. And on a business level as well, or an introvert business level, should I say, I really dislike the fact that it feels like it's becoming this shouting match for marketers. And there's this pressure or this kind of need to play to the crowd all the time. And there's this constant churn of, here's the latest thing that you have to be doing. It's like, here's the latest craze. I've never been very keen on popularity contests, and I really don't like the whole game of oversharing and just posting for more shock value and likes. It just doesn't sit well with me. I don't get reels. I just don't understand them. If you're using reels in your business, fantastic. All power to you, and I hope it's going really well, but I just don't quite connect with that. And the thought of scrolling through groups for hours and hours to try and pick up clients, been there and done that, and it just really makes me want to run away. And I've now learned is totally unnecessary as well. So just not something that I feel aligned to anymore. And I'm a big believer in business that you should make sure that you're doing things in your marketing and in your work that you actually enjoy, because you are going to be doing this for a heck of a long time. It's going to be a long haul, so you best make sure that you're doing stuff that you're going to enjoy showing up to do every single day. B, I believe that you should really play to your strengths and listen to yourself rather than doing what everybody else says you should be doing. If that were really the fastest route to success, then we'd all be there by now, wouldn't we? And C, I feel that we really need to trust that our ideal clients will totally get our way of thinking and the way that we want to run our business, and it will resonate with them. And if we're brave enough and bold enough to stand up for the things that we really want to do and the things we really believe in, then those people will follow us to the ends of the earth. And they're probably kind of thinking along the same lines as us anyway, because on many levels, we often are our own ideal client. And I've spoken to more and more people who are more than a bit sick of it, really, more than a bit tired of social media, totally over the cliched online marketing thing, and have really reached saturation point in terms of consuming information that way. And that's, again, perhaps my frame of reference, perhaps the sphere of people that I'm hanging out with, but that's the general feeling I'm getting. Personally, I've really cut down on the number of groups that I'm joining and paying attention to. And I think maybe that's something that happens as well when you just reach a certain point in your business. And my ideal one-to-one clients now are typically people that have reached a certain stage in their business. They've been doing this for a while, they're seeing some success, but they're just kind of feeling a bit stuck at a certain level, and they're not so easily enticed by all the shiny objects now. Then they're kind of a bit fatigued, shall we say, with the online marketing stuff. So I think my ideal clients are much the same as me. They are paying a bit less attention to groups and opting out of constantly doing challenges and all the hype. And I still think that groups absolutely have a place if your heart is really in them, and if you're really into creating a community and building connections, and that really plays to your strengths. If you're that kind of facilitator and you just love kind of hyping up a community and really building those relationships. But for me, as a marketing method, it just wasn't feeling like something I wanted to be doing anymore. Not just for the purposes of marketing anyway. I want to build genuine friendships and connections, but it feels difficult to me to show up and put content out there just for the sake of, showing up and invigorating that audience. Now, I've got much, much better at listening to my gut in recent months and recognizing that there are plenty of ways to market a business, thankfully. Partly thanks to Leonie Dawson's awesome course, which is called Marketing Without Social Media. You may remember a few months ago, I interviewed Leonie for the podcast, and that was all about how she created her now $12 million business on just 10 hours per week. And sometime before that, I did an episode on the podcast asking whether you can run your business without social media. So it's clearly been there for a while, hasn't it? But yeah, I did her course and that really enlightened me. And partly thanks to just stepping back and thinking for myself as well, and just being brave enough to do that and stop following the crowd. And having checked in with what I really love doing, I decided that Facebook groups were no longer the right thing for me, not in terms of regularly churning out their content just to drive engagement thing. Anyway, it just doesn't feel good to me. So I've been playing about with a few ideas over the last few months, and here's what I've decided instead. So the first thing, I absolutely love doing this podcast. So this will be staying for sure. It gives me a chance to download my brain regularly and chat away to myself, which is great. I've always been somebody who just talks to myself randomly in the supermarket, so it works for that. And I feel like it helps people to just consume genuinely valuable content in a way that is really pick up and put downable and can easily work around their daily lives or fit in with exercise, chores, whatever you're doing. And to me, that just feels far more personal and engaging than me doing Facebook Lives ever did. And that's different for different people. Again, I think some people really get on with podcasting as a medium. Some people absolutely love the buzz of doing a Facebook Live. Mine never felt quite that exciting to me. And I love hearing from my listeners about the insights that they've picked up. And if that's you, by the way, just reach out and say hi and tell me what you're getting out of this podcast, because I love to get those messages. It's so amazing to hear from you. I also really love my email list. So you might have heard my episode a while ago with Kelly Cookson, all about why you're missing out if you aren't using email in your business. If you've not heard that one yet, go back and check that one out. Some fantastic tips in there from Kelly and some really eye-opening statistics. And I genuinely believe that email is such a wonderful way to communicate with people who actually want to hear from you regularly. Writing really is my thing, and I could sit there all day and ping out emails, and knowing that they're helping someone and making a difference to someone, even though it's just free insights, is wonderful. And they can also then keep that bit of content for as long as it's useful to them and it's not just gone in a flash. That's why a little while ago, actually, I did an email challenge. I've set up this email content challenge because I resonate much more with that gradual drip feed email challenge that people can just do in their own time, rather than maybe a 5-day live challenge where people have to show up day in, day out and join in with the group. And that just works a lot better for me, and I feel like I deliver much better content that way. So if you haven't looked at the content challenge, I will pop that in the show notes for you to jump in and give it a go. It's pretty in depth, and I think you'll get great results. So going forward, I'm putting lots and lots more focus into my email list. I've even named it now. And I'll be making sure that I am working on building that list through my website and through my fab free opt-ins and resources. Anyone joining my email community will also be getting invited to a free monthly business clinic, where I'll be sharing tips and advice on everything from marketing to mindset, and helping you to grow your business and sign more of those incredible dream clients. So if you're not already on my email list, then do jump in there and snap up those monthly invites and you'll get all sorts of lovely business insights, whatever stage of business you are at. So no more wondering for me where I should be posting things, because it's all just going to go straight into the email list. All my best stuff is going to get sent to one place for those people that really, really want it and really want to be there. Simplicity is definitely the way forward. My website's getting a bit of a makeover, so I'm going to be using my website much more as a hub for my business rather than just a kind of shop front. And I have a bit of a plan in place to make sure that it gets more of the right kind of traffic via Pinterest and a few other little ideas that I have up my sleeve, including my book that I'm busily writing and very, very, very excited about. So I'll give you more news on that as and when. Now, I have to say, for all of that, I'm not giving up social media completely. So as I said at the start, I do still really love the community and the relationships I've built up online over the past couple of years. And that really feels important and fun to me, and I enjoy it. And I think it's important not to cut off our nose to spite our face in a way. I think it's checking in with how much you do enjoy it and the bits that you do enjoy. And just making sure that you're leaning into that rather than feeling sucked into things that you feel you should do or feel compelled to do because everybody else is. So I'm definitely keen to keep that side of things going. But what I will be doing is taking it back to being social and being about genuine connections and relationships rather than being a constant marketing campaign and a apostrophes essential drain on my time. So I'll be putting all my energy into the things that really feel good to me instead, and sharing all that value, as I said, on my email list feels really great to me. So if you are on social media and you want to connect, I'm really enjoying being on LinkedIn at the moment. So I'll be hanging out there for the foreseeable future. Just have a look for me, Abby Rogers. I think you should find me pretty easily and just request to connect or follow. I'd love to see you there. And I'm still on Facebook. I'll just be checking in a bit less frequently there, reading my book a lot more, and not sitting there trying to come up with groundbreaking posts that disappear very quickly. So unless I feel particularly inspired, I might just fire out the odd few posts when I do really feel that the mood takes me, but I don't feel compelled to be posting content on there every single second of every single day now. And I'll be smiling a lot more for that. So see you next week, when I will be interviewing Kristen Molinar, who has built her entire business away from social media and 100% her own way. And that is, to me, so inspiring. She has many, many amazing insights to share. So I will see you there. In the meantime, have a fantastic week. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. So just get in touch if you want to give me any of your thoughts. See you soon. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, it would be incredible if you could pop a review on iTunes, Google, Spotify, or your favourite podcast platform. And if you want to dive deeper, you can find me in my Facebook group Unblock Your Business or at www.unblockyourbusiness.com.